as appropriate as it can be with, we've had this really nice Homura cover background for volume 6 laid out, as the nice little frame for Eden Zero since it came out, and in all around just stellar for this chapter. What was it, 65 now? We have a Homura centered one. I figured that, or I mean, really, who was left for Homura to fight other than Garrett? I'm predicting that Homura and Shiki will team up to fight Kurenai, and it won't just be Shiki alone. I mean, Shiki still hasn't gone all out yet, but I feel like the Kurenai Dragoon Knight is a little bit too much for him alone. He's able to damage it, but really, like, we know that there's obviously some weaknesses of it because, the hint that it doesn't, it wasn't fully finished testing, but at the moment, like, Shiki, all he's really done is he's busted up some of the boosters, so it's not going to be as fast. I don't think it can fly anymore, but for the most part, he hasn't done a whole lot of damage. Well, he's a lot more damaged himself. But we still had Garrett because we had an Arsenal, in his Arsenal suit, Wise show up, defeat Baku. We had Rebecca unlock her Ether Gear, Leaper to defeat Nino, and now we have Garrett who's going up against Homura. Homura is still knelt down in front of Valkyries, energyless, because is it still lifeless? Husk? Robotic? I don't know. Completely depleted energy cord body of Valkyrie, but she hears all the explosions and all the battle around her, and it kind of just wakes her up, and she knows that she can't just sit here. She can't just kneel down, stay moping, and not help. She knows that's not what her master would want her to do. Her mentor wanted her, to be strong, and now she's, remembering back of some of the words that both Shiki and Rebecca told her. She's reflecting on those to, stand up, be strong. But once she actually stands up, she falls down. Her body isn't able to fully move because Garrett, he explains that the kind of paralyzing effects of his whip have both a fast-acting and slow-acting agents to it, which I actually thought was pretty cool because it's a very simplistic trait to have on it, but at the same time, it's not something that would really catch you if you were in any way aware. Like if you had, you got whipped by it, you're like, oh man, I'm feeling the effects of it. But all you would have to do, say, fight you, get you damaged a little bit, and then leave, make it seem like he's retreating, and then just wait for that much more unsuspected moment of paralysis, and then strike like this. This is exactly the perfect layout for him. Because, just that she's alone, her guard's down. There's obviously a whole bunch of a difference between oh, my body's going numb, I need to do things fast, versus here where she was just completely sitting, not really doing anything. And by the time she finally decides to do something, her body just does not want to act of her own accord. Again, Nino, he was this cool kind of cybernetic brawler. We had Baku with his fancy, axis and super speed. Garrett just seems to be, he's sadistic, but he's definitely got some intelligence to him. I'll at least give him that in the way he fights. He's got a whip, so it's not like he's heavy damage. He's much more kind of scummy, sneaky about it, which works for him. And here he is talking. He's trying to talk to her, figure out the deal between her and Valkyrie. And here, Kurenai doesn't really care at this point. You have Garrett, who's really excited now to torture Homura even more because he knows that she's related to Kurenai. Well, it just gives him a boost of excitement. But here she's getting all over mad because Garrett is touching up on Valkyrie's lifeless robot body, getting all pissed off. And he's saying if he wanted to at any point, because he's the warden, he was the warden of this entire slum, and if at any point he could have just destroyed it, the robot body. And we know that all the members of the slum of this working district left it up because it was a symbol for them, and Garrett fully recognized that it was a symbol of this whole rebellion and a reason to fight. But he loved it because he had respect for her, because she's an impressive fighter, probably had his own a little bit more lewd kind of ideas there. He's kind of licking this lifeless robot body, but at the same time, he wanted to break her. He saw how gallant she was, majestic, and wanted to break that himself, but never got the chance. And he just, being a jerk. He's the scummy guy of the bad guy group. breaks the head right off of Valkyrie's body and just clanks on the ground. And here's Homura just getting pissed off. She's mad. You got that kind of like darker shaded, it's like almost etching kind of like design that Hiroshima does. Not that the way that he's got that like brush stroke one. That's like when things get real vicious. But you know, that much more one-sided like shade black like intensity that he's coming in. And I know the panel that a lot of people got excited over. I really liked this one because, you know, the first thing we saw, like all the swords popping up, and I knew Odin's Strike was coming. And I like this one specifically because you see, you know, the panic on Garrett's face. You know, like it's not only like a cool boost for Homura because now she's got her ether gear extending entirely over each arm, like not just like part like the base symbol, you know, fully like each arm covered in ether gear. And at the same time, it's also in front of the, you know, in front of the pretty much, I don't want to say memorial, you know, I mean, it's pretty much a grave of her mentor. She's inheriting that ultimate technique from her, the Odin Strike, and she's getting up and shoots right into Garrett, who, you know, surprisingly enough, again, Garrett manages to stave it off. Like, that alone, I'd say, like, Garrett, even though you're a scummy bad guy, I mean, you know, you're a bad guy, don't expect you to be a good dude. But the fact that he, like, managed to, like, survive that, and he seems to, like, take in the explosion and been pretty fine, even deflect it, snap a bunch of the swords, come out, just showed that he's actually pretty powerful. I'll give him that. I'll give him that much. Like, we know Arsenal was able to beat Baku because of, you know, he's got this really sick super suit, and here's Rebecca unlocking Leaper, but again, I think that Nino pretty much, I don't think Nino truly lost. I think he decided to take that as an opportunity to pull out because he didn't want to hurt any of these people in the rebellion. He didn't think it was right. And here we have Garrett, who, you know, took the Odin Strike, barely looks damaged. Like, you see a couple scuff marks on his clothes, but in reality, the dude is fine. Actually, I don't even think it's on his clothes. I think you just see a little bit of scuffs on his elbows. And here he is getting ready. He's excited to break Homura. But Homura, though she used the Odin Strike, there was a second purpose of it because, you know, some of the blades went and hit the sword that was implanted from Valkyrie, brought it up, had it kind of just like swing, spin, keep knocking it, all the ones over there, and bring it down and skewer him. I'm going to use that one for the thumbnail. And, you know, you probably have already seen the thumbnail, so I'm going to use that one. I really like that sick silhouette panel, you know, with the sword completely just embedded through him. That dude's dead. There's no way that he's alive. He's gone. He's not walking away from this one. I mean, and especially the fact that he's the scummy villain on top of everything else. Like, I mean, he's pretty much screwed. I mean, he was smart because he was strong. He was intelligent. You know, we knew that he already had the idea of he already knew how to completely, like, render ether gear moot, because from what we've seen so far, if you tie up and restrict the area that it kind of stems out of, it just shuts down. That seems to be the kind of thing. Because with ether gear, you know, it's alternating the path of ether in the body. So if you restrict the flow of that, you know, it's going to mess up the whole thing. You're not going to be able to get the power right. And here, you know, he had things planned out, but he didn't know. Like, I feel like he didn't know she was going to do some crazy juggle blading sword thing to get one right through his chest. And, well, I mean, if he was a little bit more attentive, I mean, there was a chance that he would have lost, because here comes Homura and Wise coming up. You know, I don't think he could take the three of them together, but, you know, that is a completely what-if scenario. We don't know the full extent of Garrett and if he would be capable of taking on all three. But he's not going to be taking anybody anymore. I mean, I doubt this guy's living from this one. He's probably gone. And you got a really nice kind of like final moment for Homura and Valkyrie. And it's nice because it's adding an extra level of intensity to be honest, the best arc so far, Eden Zero. I really liked the start of the series. I think kind of like in the 30s and 40s. You know, the chapters kind of like, I don't think they're bad. They weren't as hyped. They're kind of like in a much more soothing, kind of like steady pace. But this arc has been great. I think it's been a lot of fun since the very start. You know, you got Drac and Joe up, you got Kurenai, and you know, you're getting like Arsenal. You know, Wise in that sick suit. You're getting some really cool plot twists and character moments from Homura, Shiki, Rebecca. Everyone's getting lots of nice things. I mean, Pino got a really, probably one of the best cover pages with that really cute like thing of her drawing. She's with crayons, just being silly. So that all around fun chapter, and really enjoyed it. I have to say, like, Homura is probably my favorite in Eden Zero right now. Jin, I really like Jin's character, but we haven't seen a lot of him yet. Same thing with Drac and Joe. But at the moment, I'm gonna go with Homura. I really like Shiki as well, but Homura, I think she's gotten a lot more at the moment. We're probably gonna not find out a lot about Shiki's like much further in depth backstory until way later along the line. But you know, we're gonna get a lot of like cool interactions between him and the other characters as well as the antagonists. You know, but for now, Homura has the spotlight. I want to know what the extent of our swords are, because we know Odin Strike, you know, it's just a bunch of swords. But like, would she be able to develop new sword forms? I imagine so, but I wonder what the process is. Like, does she have to like set it up long beforehand? Would she be able to like pretty much design her own sword and then get it like memorized in like Ether Gear? Again, Ether Gear, we don't know a lot about it. I'm sure there'll be more explanations. It wouldn't be like something weird like, oh, how did she get a new sword? It's like, it's an ether energy sword that she forms out of her, like, literally her own ether. So a new sword would be really cool, a nice addition, but at the same time, again, I guess it would really just depend on like what kind of power it is and really like the situation that it would sit in. Like, maybe combine them, because I think she has 5 swords. Maybe combine them all, or maybe get like a great sword and just get like one big, like, pretty much grand cleave, just one big full frontal attack. Like, because she's got like one for speed, she's got general swordsmanship, she's got her Odin Strike, which seems to be more like an artillery fire, but she needs one that's just like, kind of like what was that Metallica punch that Arsenal had, something like that, but with a sword, just one big all power in cleave. I think that would be something pretty sick, and as well as you'd be able to get so many like cool like ether designs out of it, like the weird way that the ether swords are all drawn as well as, you know, energy swords. But anyway, Homura, again, favorite character so far in Eden Zero. You got a lot of good stuff going on. I've been really having fun with how things are going with you, but no, Shiki's still got some spotlight left. Maybe Shiki can take it, and I don't know if I'll count the heroes versions of them. I feel like that'll just be a new version to really look at. But anyway, comment below, tell me what you thought about the chapter. You know, from what I've seen, a lot of people have been really liking this chapter. It was really solid. You got a lot of emotions, but also good action, and that pretty vicious kill for you know, on Garrett. And other than that, I really appreciate if you thumbs up the video, burn the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. From that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.